Hey guys, I'm here with Maple, and I want to show you the mechanics of all the commands that we teach. She's a good girl. She actually goes home today, so she'll be a good model. She's super ready. So what we have her on now is the place bed. We like to use a raised cot because it's such a clear boundary between the ground and the cot versus a dog bed where it's easy for them to kind of slink off and not realize it. For this, they have to actually step over and down. And the place bed is one of the 3 stationary commands that we teach. It means go to this bed, lay down and relax, and don't step off until we release you or call you. Maple knew this before she came, however her owner said she never stayed, so that kind of defeats the purpose of the whole entire command. And then we also pair the place command with the down command, because we always want our dogs relaxed on the bed. So I don't ever want them sitting up, standing up. I always want them in a down position, because it's really a state of mind as well as a physical body position. She can stay on the place command literally for hours if you're working from home, or you just got her home from a walk and you have a few hours to do things around the house. This is really the best place for her to be, rather than wandering around finding trouble. Now if you want to move her from the place bed, you can use your recall. So I'm going to use my COME word paired with the tap on the tone on the e-collar. And that just means she comes to the person calling her and either sits and downs in this area right here. Come. Good girl. Sit. Good. Good girl. And now she's like, what next? So I said, come. I tapped my tone. I said, good girl, as she was on the way. And then she sits right in front of me. Good. From here, I'm going to tell her to down. Down. Good girl. Down is also a stationary command, meaning she's got to stay there until I release her. Good girl. It's also a state of mind, so we want her calm while she's in her down command. Now, I can also send to place using a pointed finger, where I'm just going to use my pointed finger, point to the place bed, and tell her place. Place. She doesn't want to get on. She was about a second away from me clicking. I'm at a 10 right now. Good girl. But there was a minor thought of, well, maybe I don't want to. And then she thought otherwise. Good girl. Yes. Okay. Now we can also use the follow around the house, which is like a loose off-leash heel. I'm going to say the word heel. I'm going to tap the tone. Again, the tone always means get to my body. So if my body keeps moving, she's got to move with me, and that's where the heel and the follow comes from. Heel, good girl. And she's taught to follow the left leg. She goes at the pace the handler is going. If she's not, she's going to make mistakes, because if she's not following my leg, she's going to be going in other directions, not following me and making mistakes, and the handler would be correcting that, which would motivate her to stay in heel. A lot of people think heel, what's the point of it in the house? But it's a really nice way to move your dog around the house without them bolting all around like a lit firecracker. Good girl. Sit. If I want to release her for a potty, I'm going to have her sit at the threshold as I open the door. She's not allowed to bolt out. Maple. Break. I want to say her name and get that eye contact, and then I release her out the door. You don't want to start letting your dog bolt out of doors. That's one of the first things I've noticed when I go to people's houses. Their dogs are just bolting in and out of any threshold, and it's really such an easy fix and such an easy thing to keep up with. Now, if I have her out for a potty and I want to get her back in, the cool thing is I really don't even need to say anything. I can just open the door and tap the tone, and she'll come running. Because she's trained that that tone means to get to your handler. So watch this. I'm going to open the door, tone, good girl, place, good. If she doesn't automatically lay down, I would have just told her down, okay? Now, you're like, oh, this is easy because there's no distractions. I'm going to bring out my dog, and I'll probably go get my toddler, and I'll just show you that she stays on the bed even with distractions, because she knows if she breaks, there's a correction on the e-collar. Here's the thing. If she starts breaking, and the human isn't around to give her a correction on the e-collar, she's going to keep breaking. She's going to do whatever she feels like she's allowed to do. So if corrections aren't consistent, good girl. The dog will only be as good as the system the human puts in place. That's my baby girl. Notice I'm giving her praise. It's praise and corrections. So I'm going to let Riggins out. Good boy. Yeah. Yeah. So just because another dog's free and playing with toys doesn't mean the rules don't apply to her. So this is how we proof the command to make it awesome that she'll hold no matter what, and we can start knocking on things, proving that. I can even go get my other dogs. So notice that just because there's another dog now doesn't mean the rules don't apply to Maple. So I'm never going to allow a dog to go up and start annoying her, getting on her bed, things like that. Same thing applies to kids. We don't want, we want to leave her relaxing on the playset. Good girl, Maple, and I'm going to tell her she's doing an awesome job. Girl, yes. The praise is just as important as the correction. So praise for good choices, correct for bad ones. All right, guys, out. Let's go. Is circle. Good girl, Maple. Okay, so I really like the place command when it comes to managing dogs and kids, because we have a way to keep our dog calm and relaxed, and we have a way to play with our kids on the floor. We can play a board game, we can play with toys, and the dog isn't clobbering the kid. I see that. Now, equally as important as training the dog not to leave their place bed, the child has to understand not to approach the dog. This is really important. If the child is too young to understand the rule or is not respecting the rule, you need to keep them completely separated. Okay? We don't want a dog feeling trapped on the place bed with a child going up and bothering them and feeling like a nip is the only way out. Not saying that Maple would ever do that, but lots of dogs would. Hi. Where's the doggy? So Jesse's been around dogs since he was 6 days old. He knows not to touch them because we really spent a lot of time teaching him boundaries and what's off limits. Where's the doggy? Yeah. Where's the toys? You being weird? Yeah, you found your toolbox. All right, guys, I hope that helps with understanding of the place command, the down command, the recall command, thresholds, holding commands around distractions, when and how to use your remote. And I'm gonna let her have a potty break. Break! Good girl.